Hollywood spent years protecting Ellen DeGeneres' image. She was known as the queen of daytime TV, always smiling, always talking about kindness. But when that image started falling apart, the stories came pouring out. Now Rob Schneider is saying exactly what he thinks. Megyn Kelly isn't holding back either. And together they're bringing old accusations back into the spotlight. Rob even had a personal message for Ellen that caught a lot of people by surprise. Let's break down everything that happened. During an appearance on Megyn Kelly's show, Rob Schneider didn't sugarcoat his opinion.
Yeah, that's disingenuous. That's disingenuous. That's disgenerous.
Megyn was just as direct, arguing that Ellen's public image completely fell apart once people began sharing their experiences. One moment that they talked about was Ellen's now famous interview with Dakota Johnson. During the interview, Ellen joked that Dakota hadn't invited her to a birthday party, but Dakota immediately pushed back, saying she actually had invited Ellen. The awkward exchange went viral, and suddenly people began looking at Ellen differently. What was supposed to be a funny moment turned into one of the biggest viral clips of her career.
Her show got canceled after she had this testy exchange with Dakota Johnson, where something happened where Dakota said, "Oh, I had this birthday party," and Ellen said, "Well, why didn't you invite me? You didn't invite me." And she said, "No, I did invite you, Ellen. That's not what happened." And Ellen had blown her off and then tried to play the victim on the set with her. Anyway, it led to article after article of people being like, "Ellen's a bitch. Ellen is a nasty person." And all these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show. If you saw her, this is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special. That's the right response.
Yeah.
She's got a Netflix special. And here's the capper. On the promo, and apparently there's now articles out about from people who have seen the preview. She plays the victim. And she says, "For me," and she actually has the nerve to say that she was run out of Hollywood.
After that, more stories started making headlines. Former staff members and people who claimed to have worked around Ellen began sharing their own experiences. According to Megyn Kelly, she personally knew someone whose sister worked on Ellen's show and allegedly said employees weren't even supposed to make eye contact with Ellen in the hallway. Then social media poured gasoline on the fire. It all exploded after one user asked people to share the wildest stories they had ever heard about Ellen being rude. Dozens of replies followed, creating one of the biggest viral discussions about a celebrity's reputation. One person claimed they worked at a restaurant that regularly served Ellen and Portia at brunch. According to the post, Ellen allegedly complained to the restaurant owner because the employee had chipped nail polish on her hand. They tweeted, "I worked at Real Food Daily. Served her at brunch. She wrote a letter to the owner and complained about my chipped nail polish. Not that it was on her plate, but just that it was on my hand. I had worked till closing the night before, and this was next morn. Almost got me fired." Every story was accurate or not. The sheer number of similar claims made people pay attention. More articles appeared, more former employees spoke publicly, and Ellen's carefully built image continued to crumble. Eventually, the controversy became so large that her daytime talk show came to an end. But that wasn't the end of the story. Last year, Ellen attempted a comeback with a Netflix comedy special. Instead of winning everyone back, the special sparked another round of criticism.
Is Ellen DeGeneres rewriting history? That's what some of her former staffers claim she's doing in her new Netflix stand-up special, For Your Approval.
I got kicked out of show business. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, because I'm mean. Yeah. Yeah, you can't be mean and be in show business. No, they'll kick you out.
She uses jokes to address the controversy.
I was in therapy for a while trying to deal with all the hatred that was coming at me, and at one point my therapist said, "Ellen, where do you get this idea that everyone hates you?" And I said, "Well, New York Times, Washington Post, Entertainment Weekly, Us Weekly. I think Elmo may have said something recently on an episode of Sesame Street."
But this producer who worked with her takes issue with how she's addressing allegations that there was a toxic work environment at her legendary talk show.
The essence of the special really was totally a lie.
Hedda Muscat says Ellen's special hits all the wrong notes.
I felt Ellen was not taking responsibility at all. She was sugarcoating it.
The Ellen DeGeneres Show went off the air after 19 seasons in May 2022, mired in controversy, including allegations of racism and sexual misconduct. Ellen addressed the allegations back in 2020.
And if I've ever let someone down, if I've ever hurt their feelings, I am so sorry for that.
In the special, Ellen describes the work environment she remembers.
It was a family to me. We had so much fun together at that show. We laughed all the time. We played games all the time.
I felt it was not a family. It was an atmosphere of fear.
We were in Santa Barbara. We drove by this place and someone's like, that's where Ellen lives. And to Mary Beth, I just said, I think Ellen, every morning she wakes up, Portia's sitting there having a matcha. She definitely gives me matcha energy. And Ellen looks out over all of Santa Barbara and goes, they tried to cancel me.
Frankly, no one, not even Ellen's employees, believed her apologies. And the fact that she was actually making fun of those employees again during her Netflix special was unbelievable. During her apology, Ellen was basically crying and saying that she regretted her actions. But now, just a few years later, she's joking and claiming it wasn't a big deal.
I'm just so sorry.
You're not sorry, so stop acting. I got kids, I'm married, I know exactly what a real apology looks like. I know when I have to give one. It means you're remorseful down in your soul and your spirit. You deeply regret what you've done. You lack all of those qualities. You lack them all. And you are not remorseful. You are not even sorry about what's happening. You're just sorry you got caught. You're just sorry that all that you've worked so hard to build on your lie is now crumbling right before your eyes. And it's not even a rise and a fall. It's just who you truly are. And that's what you're sorry about. So you can keep that apology, because don't nobody want to hear it at all. It's not an apology at all. You want a real apology? Turn yourself in.
Megyn Kelly argued that Ellen presented herself as the victim, pointing to reports from people who had seen previews of the special. According to Megyn, Ellen suggested she had been pushed out of Hollywood, something Megyn strongly disagreed with. She questioned how someone with an estimated fortune worth hundreds of millions of dollars could claim to have been run out of the industry. Megyn also criticized what she viewed as Ellen's comments about double standards facing successful women, arguing that Ellen's wealth and lifestyle made those complaints difficult for many viewers to relate to.
Actually has the nerve to say that she was run out of Hollywood. This person
with she with $100 million in her pocket.
$450 million, according to Forbes. That's a low estimate.
Yeah.
Because so now she's out there saying, I was run out of Hollywood. She's actually reportedly complaining about how hard it is for women in America with the double standards.
Look at Oprah, how hard it is for her.
Oh, she's got, like 10 houses, Ellen DeGeneres?
Michelle Obama, look how hard it is for women in America. They're hurting.
They're going to let her back in, Rob, because she's a lesbian, she's a leftist, and she didn't hit one of their sacred cows. Nastiness, that's their bread and butter.
Well, I think everyone, I will say, like, the resentment, I think everyone should have a chance for reconciliation. I don't think Jesus exempted anybody. And so I do, while it does, because I have been allowed back in, but I don't hold any grievance and resentment. It's very important. And I would just say for Ellen, the resentment, you have to get over resentment to whatever addiction or addictive qualities happen. To get over it, you have to deal with resentment and address it. And then otherwise you're going to fall back into the same pattern. And I think also to admit your mistakes.
Of all people on earth to be feeling sorry for herself, Ellen DeGeneres should not be on the list.
She should at least, but make a real apology and do it.
There's no apology. It's just woe is me. I was run out of Hollywood as she speaks from this grandiose stage on Netflix. Hello, you haven't been canceled if you are doing a Netflix special. She got $20 million for the one before this. I'm sure she's fine.
I'm sure she's fine.
Reports estimate Ellen's fortune at around $500 million, and she's become well known for buying, renovating, and selling luxury homes worth millions. But according to Megyn, the biggest issue wasn't Ellen's success. It was that she believed Ellen never truly accepted responsibility. When the workplace controversy first erupted, Ellen said she wasn't aware of everything happening behind the scenes on her show. Critics, however, argued that explanation wasn't convincing because similar complaints had surfaced over many years from multiple employees and guests.
How does the Ellen we see on TV compare to the Ellen you saw when the cameras stopped rolling?
Totally different. She would only speak to the audience when the cameras were rolling. As soon as they turned the cameras off, she would not even acknowledge the audience. She would just sit on the couch, basically. Even when she exited, she just said what she had to say on camera and then walked off.
Dana appeared in the Make It Rain segment, where guests can be drenched with money or water after they answer trivia questions. Wet and shivering, Dana says she was treated horribly by producers afterwards.
They told us they were gonna give us dry clothes to change into, so they had us waiting in a hallway by the bathroom, and it's almost like they forgot about us because we were waiting there for a good 45 minutes.
One horrifying incident even involved one of the biggest singers in the world, Mariah Carey. In 2008, Mariah appeared on Ellen's show while she was pregnant, but she hadn't announced it publicly. During the interview, Ellen repeatedly tried to get Mariah to confirm the pregnancy on live television. At one point, she even offered her a drink, suggesting that if Mariah refused it, everyone would know she was expecting. Mariah looked visibly uncomfortable and repeatedly tried to change the subject.
We both really know now that Miss Ellen, not as nice as she portrayed on TV. Now, the most awkward, uncomfortable, and borderline unethical interview that Ellen did has to be Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey was on the Ellen DeGeneres show in 2008, and Ellen obviously has to pry and bring up the pregnancy rumors that were circulating at the time. She didn't just do that, though. In order to pressure an answer out of her, she made her drink champagne live on TV.
And then the other thing is that people are saying that that you're pregnant. There's rumors. Don't discuss that. All right. Well, you don't have.
Mariah didn't want to release that she was pregnant yet because she has had a history of having miscarriages, and it was way too early on. Shortly after the interview, Mariah suffered a miscarriage. She talks all about this in some interviews from 2020 and her book that came out. But that's honestly a very evil thing for someone like Ellen to do with her platform. Mariah continuously brings up that how uncomfortable that moment made her. Whether or not it was real champagne doesn't really matter. It's the fact that she was pressuring her into answering on the...
Then Rob Schneider offered his 2 cents on the situation. He agreed that Ellen had tried to manipulate the situation into becoming the victim.
I think you should, there's certainly no lack of, I don't sense any humility.
No,
in that.
No. And no one cares that now she's dealing with chickens. It's like, all right,
you're a normal $450 million person.
And by the way, I guarantee you
who's taking care of her chickens? I guarantee, what's that? You guarantee what?
She's worth a lot more than $450 million.
Her art alone.
And those talk show hosts.
Her devil worshipping art alone.
It's just, it's too much. I can't stand these rich celebrities who want us to feel sorry for them. We don't. Right? It's like all those you saw, like Julia Roberts on the Oprah special with Kamala.
The thing is, this seems to be a pattern with Ellen. She pretends everything is fine until she is exposed, where she will then pretend to be the victim. Take her early career and relationship with Anne Heche, for example. At the time, Ellen openly admitted she was struggling. In interviews, she described herself as depressed, broke, and professionally blacklisted. Many believed Hollywood had turned its back on her after she made the historic decision to come out publicly. It was a difficult period in her life. Around the same time, her relationship with actress Anne Heche also came to an end. The two had dated from 1997 until 2000, and at first, both described the breakup as friendly. But years later, Anne told a very different story.
We're moving into a next step, hopefully, and hopefully I have some more intelligence, I know I do, around it because I've studied it to be able to communicate a little bit better about what happened 20 years ago and the fact that it's taken us 20 years to be able to be at a point where we can listen to the truth again.
And Ellen's fine. She can sit on her pile of money.
I hope you like your money because that's why I broke up with you. Do you like sitting on your piles of cash? Because guess what? It gets you exactly where you are. And by the way, baby, and it's what you wanted then, and I hope you're liking it now. Cheers.
You broke up with her because she had a lot of money, or you broke up with her because...
I broke up with her because her goal was to have a lot of money, and mine was to find love, and hers was I want 60 billion. Good luck. Our forks are never going to meet. The further we stay on with this, the further we will be apart.
She didn't live in that love and kindness.
No, she didn't. But you and I don't talk about... She wasn't revenge a lot, you know.
No, we don't. There's one thing that I remember. There is one little nugget that I do have a sense of wanting a little bit of. I guess the only word is revenge. I feel that you were so wronged, and now to know that you were continuing to be wronged, it fires me up a little bit, and especially when you look at somebody like Ellen, who literally is sitting on a pile of $60 billion, and then
could feed countries,
right? And then
but you got a Porsche.
I mean, you're not hurting.
She claimed Ellen had been extremely controlling throughout their relationship, and also alleged that after they split, Ellen used her influence in Hollywood to hurt her career by making it harder for her to land acting roles and other opportunities.
Fear has a very big force. It's not as big as love's, obviously. But I do want to say, you teased about this before, but that I was the original canceled, and I am going to be the original uncanceled. I am uncanceled today. I am finished with that. This is what I say. Goodbye. Watch out. You're
So we have officially uncanceled Anne H.
I'm uncanceled, folks.
Now that we're talking about it,
I guess the truth's out now.
Okay, well, what is the truth? Because let's go, I guess. Let's go.
Okay, ask me a question and I will answer. I've been waiting to tell my truth for 20 years.
Nobody knew it was going to be today, but it is. Sometimes you just feel it and you go with it and the time is right.
Well,
and you sit on something for long enough that it's time to talk about it.
Yes, and the other dominator is with her people, apparently.
So, I know from what I have read that Ellen has always said that she has no idea why you ended it with her. Can you answer that question once and for all? Okay.
I'm sorry. Do I have allergy?
Okay, fine. Let's let our viewers know.
Well,
why?
First of all, I've written a book about some of the truths, and the second one will be coming out shortly. The fact of the matter is, if anybody chooses to look at the truth, the signs and the reasons of their arrival.
Following the cancellation of Ellen's show, more allegations surfaced, not only involving Ellen, but also several of the show's top executives.
But that's not all, because then 36 more allegations surfaced, all from former employees, not only against Ellen, but also against 3 of the show's executive producers directly. There were more than 10 allegations of against executive producer and head writer Kevin Lemon. 5 allegations of touching were made against executive producer Ed Glavin, and executive producer Jonathan Norman was accused by one former employee of attempting to perform him, with 3 other employees corroborating that employee had told him about the incident at the time. All 3 producers denied the allegations, but all of that talk leads to Warner Media, the corporate entity behind the show, to begin an investigation looking into all these different allegations. Executive producers Ed Glavin and Kevin Lemon were fired, and Jonathan Norman also ended up leaving. Ellen addressed the entire situation on season 18 premiere in September of 2020. She called her summer great sarcastically and then said, quote, "I'm so sorry to the people that were affected. I take responsibility for what happens on my show." End quote. She also joked, quote, "Being known as the kind lady is a tricky position to be in," end quote. For many former employees and viewers, the apology felt pretty empty. Also, not everything that I'm telling you guys has been confirmed to be 100% true. Let's make that clear. I'm not accusing anything of anyone. I'm just explaining Ellen's career path, okay? But it's up to you guys to form your own opinion. On that note, do you guys remember this guy? Yeah, unfortunately, I do too. I have to say that in hindsight, one of the clips from Ellen's show that doesn't quite feel right is one from 2020 when Ellen surprised a group of 8 children with cancer with him. Granted, back then, nobody knew the despicable things that this man was doing in secret, but him being affectionate with these little kids, I don't know. It doesn't help that her birthday tweet to him refers to him by name, but ends with, quote, or as I call him, Cuddle McNuggle stuff. You don't need to know why, end quote. If that makes you feel weird, you're not alone. The Ellen Show ended in May of 2022. The final episode was filmed April 18th of 2022 after 19.
And for Ellen, she would come under the spotlight once again a few months later as tragedy struck. In August 2022, Ellen's former partner, Anne Heche, was involved in a devastating car crash in Los Angeles. She suffered severe injuries and passed away days later. The official investigation ruled the crash was accidental because Anne had previously spoken publicly about her relationship with Ellen, and because she had reportedly been working on new projects before her passing, social media quickly filled with speculation. When people online started digging into her death, the whole thing started looking less accidental and a lot more engineered.
In front of the house where actress Anne Heche crashed her car back in August 2022. A crash that has left more questions than answers. That morning, Anne walked into a hair shop in Venice, California. The owner said she walked in, saw a red wig up on the shelf, wanted the red wig. He told her it wasn't styled. She said no worries, made the purchase. He recognized who she was and asked for a selfie. They took a selfie together, which is still up on his Instagram. The owner of the wig shop, Richard Glass, said that she was completely normal, didn't seem impaired, she wasn't slurring her words, thought the interaction seemed completely normal. Just after that seemingly normal encounter, she was captured behind the wheel of her blue Mini Cooper and was also involved with 2 hit-and-run incidents earlier that morning before the crash. In this photo taken from the scene of one of the hit-and-runs, you can see the red wig on her passenger seat as well as what looks like a vodka bottle in the cup holder of her car. To most people, that photo looks like proof that she was drinking. But here's the thing. According to the coroner's toxicology report, there was no alcohol in her system reported during the time of the crash. No active drugs were found either, just small traces of cocaine and cannabinoids from prior use. So if she wasn't intoxicated, why was she driving like she was running from something? Anne's car was captured on doorbell camera footage, zooming down this street at an extremely high rate of speed. As you can see, there's a stop sign here. She blew completely through that stop sign, somehow managed not to hit any oncoming traffic. This is a very busy street, and plowed straight into this home right here, and was trapped so deep inside that the house and the car caught fire, and she wasn't able to be rescued for 45 minutes. Most disturbing part of this case is aerial helicopter footage showed Anne Heche being put onto a stretcher. You can see a body in some type of bag on a stretcher being wheeled into the back of an ambulance, when all of a sudden the zipper breaks open and you see Anne Heche emerge suddenly out of this body bag, what looks like a body bag, and prop herself up as if she's trying to get off the stretcher or get out of the bag. They push her back down and she's put...
Months later, the entertainment world was shocked again, as someone connected to Ellen once again was found dead under suspicious circumstances. Stephen Twitch Boss, the beloved dancer, DJ, and executive producer of the Ellen DeGeneres show, passed away at the age of 40. Authorities determined that his death was self-inflicted, and investigators found no signs of foul play. However, online sleuths thought